So next, I think we all talked about like what breaks at scale. I think I would love to like put a slightly positive spin into it, which is like, how do you drive adoption of a successful voice of customer or a customer insights program? Um, and like, what does success mean? Like, what is like, how do you measure it? Or maybe it's qualitative, but we would just love to get folks started. And Michael, so would love to like start with you. Like, any thoughts on like on that?
I think taking inventory of all the feedback channels, communicating where those are, where they are, what type of biases they may have, what some of the limitations are, and just kind of exposing that across the organization is helpful. But I think it really takes time to understand how product development works within your company, understand those moments of like when feedback is most useful, which teams are using it, how to champion and like elevate those teams and model that behavior. And then constantly thinking about these win-win opportunities, right? So how do you make it easier for salespeople to capture feedback? And then how do you make it easier for that feedback to get routed to the product team? How do you make it easier for marketing to close the loop? And so by designing these processes and experiences in a way that benefits everyone across this loop, I think is super important. And then when you have wins like, hey, we responded to 20,000 pieces of feedback for this A/B test, like, let's share that. Let's elevate the product teams and the customer facing teams that are going above and beyond to usher this kind of philosophy that customer insights really matter. So I don't think there's a kind of simple one answer to how do you drive this, but it's just like an ongoing effort.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Missy, anything you want to add from your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think of course, you want to define your own success criteria from the outset and figure out, do you want to see numbers move? Which numbers are you looking to gain more users, drive greater adoption of certain features? But to me, the ultimate success of customer data reporting, customer data feedback, voice of the customer program is, do you see change? Do you see change and action happen as a result of the feedback and data that you have access to? And again, this is something that seems really, really simple, but it will break down quickly if you don't see that change, because it becomes discouraging to put in the effort to collect and curate and share that data. It becomes discouraging for customers who, after a certain point, eventually do stop sharing their feedback if they're not seeing any action, as well as for our internal insight generators, our insight producers like CX and our sales team. So for me, success is seeing a change in the product, a change in customer behavior, a change in whatever numbers that are important to us.
I think another ingredient for making voice of the customer program successful, I think, is visibility from leadership. Having a principle around customer insights is obviously important. And I think most companies have that at Zoom. It's customer happiness is a big driving principle. But the help you need from leadership is to follow through on that and to regularly call that out, to make sure that there is an ownership over voice of the customer at scale and that people know who that person is. And another thing that we do at Zoom is part of the product requirements are often including qualitative data if it's applicable, right? So brand new features that nobody has obviously are different, but if you're iterating on something or fixing something, et cetera, one of the things in the requirement is, what are people saying? And do you really understand it? And that is a pretty good way of saying, if that's in the requirement doc and you have to put it in there, then you have to go get it. And if you have to go get it, it has to be out there, and it sort of goes backwards. So that's sort of a bottoms up way to match the leadership emphasis on it as well.